What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the UMortgage cinematic universe? Welcome to the Monday market update. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I got to spend some really wonderful time in Philly last week and just loved being with the team, the HQ folks, marketing team. What's up? And finance, everybody, tech. Really great to spend time in person with our coworkers. My name is Sean Grapevine. I am VP of Strategy and coming to you live from our studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. And today, as with all Mondays, I'm joined by a man who needs no introduction, but who will have to suffer one through one anyway, like he does every week. He's like Jon Stewart returning to the Daily Show in its time of need. So too does our host return faithfully every week to guide us through the turbid, tumultuous tempest in our market's little teapot. He's saucier than the burnt ends at the best barbecue shack in Kansas City, where he's from. He's the terror of the T-bill, the MBA of the MBS. He's the Helios of the HELOC, the discipler of the DSCR, and the locksmith of the lock desk. Welcome, everybody. Give your welcome to Jon Arnsmeyer. Welcome, Jon.
Good morning.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you get. Good morning.
All right.
How are you doing? Right. Okay. You. I know you're okay. You're jacked. You're ready to go.
I had a great session. Great session at the gym this morning. I've had 3 cups of coffee, and I'm ready to run through a brick wall. So
I love it.
Thank you. I am excited to talk to you about this week. I'm actually not. I lied. I'm not excited to talk to you about this week because nothing's happening. It's in the immortal words of Jon Stewart, the slow news week. Do you remember that?
I do. I do remember that. And I'm, from my standpoint, I'm ready for some slow news because the volatility of last week took a toll. Was there
a lot of volatility?
Well, between CPI, you come in hot, and then the PPI not saving our bacon, it led to a lot of questions. It led to a lot of uncertainty, and people were curious about where things are going. So
I was otherwise engaged on Friday, where PPI came in. Whoa, pretty hot, huh?
It did. It was a hot little cake, hotcakes.
Yeah.
So
yikes. All right.
Yeah.
We're temporarily boned, as they say.
Yeah. It I think I'm just gonna say it now. I live in the Midwest, and we have a term called false spring. And I think what we saw over, all the CPI, the PPI, all the data showed, hey, rates might be coming down. CPI might be under control. But again, it's called fall spring, and now we are entering into what's called second winter.
Sure. Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow. Punxsutawney Phil being the PPI, the Punxsutawney Phil index. He did not see his shadow. Well, you know what? I don't care.
Neither do I.
We're rare and hot, as I'm sure you on the lock desk know. This has not put a damper on the housing market and people's appetite to get loans, surprisingly, against all odds. To what do you attribute? I mean, is this like, hey, CPI is going up because people aren't losing their jobs, and the jobs they do have, they're getting more money, and income is starting to catch up with home prices, and inventory is starting to thaw, and like, are we sort of like accidentally backing ourselves into a healthy jobs market with a healthy home buying economy?
Yes, and I think I alluded to this last week. I also think that there's just some normalcy, like the level. So I think people are accustomed to the tension of the last few years. So CPI is coming down. Housing market, is great for us. Jobs are great. So I think people are just starting to become accustomed to the higher rates, and they're okay with it. I mean, that's where I said, that's how I look at it. I think people are just okay with this.
Well, I mean, just even to me, I'm like, 6.75 is pretty good now. Whereas in 2022, if you'd have said, hey, a year from now, you're going to be selling 6.75, I would have been like, oh, I'll I'll find a different career.
Right.
Now I'm like, that's pretty reasonable. I mean, even one of the team members here at UMortgage is getting a loan, getting a deal of a lifetime. But even it was like when he first started, he was like, I would never get a mortgage at these rates. And then rates went up from there, and now they're back down to where he said that, and he's like, "This is pretty good." It's like totally. It very is a matter of perception and what you are used to. How are things looking in like? We don't talk about this as much as Austin I used to. He had a real thing for the MBS markets. But how are MBS markets behaving rationally? Are they moving in lockstep? Are we seeing? Is one of the reasons that we feel more comfortable? This is not a leading question. I have no idea. One of the things we always used to talk about is, hey, like rates are going up, rates are going down, the 10 years going up, the 10 years going down. But the crappy thing about 2023 is there was no premium anywhere on the rate stack. Didn't matter how high you went on the rate stack, you weren't going to find 300 bips of raw premium to pay comp, margin, all that. You had to charge points on everything. Is normalcy you talked about the fact that there's a little bit like the rate stack can kind of spread more?
I do think the rate stack is more attractive. Yes. I don't think, you're not seeing like, oh, I've got to pay, an arm and a leg for this rate. Just to be succinct, I said it. I think the rate stack is offering more premium that is compressing a little bit. And so you're not feeling that pain in those stacks. So, and then, you asked about the 10-year. I think everyone is just balancing out. I think there's a time of normalcy where we're saying, hey, this is what it is. And how do we move forward? Also, one thing I would add is there was all this, we keep talking about, Sean, wild speculation for rate cuts in March, but the data didn't back it up.
Let's go to the tape here. Let's see about that speculation now.
Right. Which is
the CMA, the CME Fed Watch tool, which shows the implied odds of a rate cut coming at various Fed meetings. It's really cool. You guys should check it out. I just searched CME Fed Watch tool, and it went from there being a 46% chance of a rate cut. So on January 19th, traders thought there's a 46% chance of a rate cut come March, which is huge. The highest percentage we've seen of a chance to rate cut in the upcoming meeting since God knows when. I mean, like, I don't even remember. Any guesses on what we're down to?
Well, it was what, 15? It was 15% last week.
That's right.
It's got to be 5% at best, if not 0.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's some out there crazier than you, but it is 8.5% chance of being cut. So that is effectively priced. And what you see in the 10-year, what you see in MBS is the left tailist you can get on there being any chance of a rate cut. You go to May, you get to 33%. You go to June, it's total between there being 1 or 2 rate cuts. Okay, let's go. That's easy there, Tigers. 72%. So still a chance it'll happen, but certainly many fewer rate cuts priced in. If you go all the way to December, it looks like on average people are pricing in 4 rate cuts still.
Yeah.
Still seems pretty optimistic.
It does. But hey, we've been consistent from the beginning that we were not seeing what the broader markets were seeing with, like, they were calling for 6 rate cuts on the year, and now we're down to 4. It's like,
I guess they don't. Do you think they didn't watch the Monday market update? There's no way.
They did not. And they also, I guarantee you, they are not from the Midwest because they are not accustomed to fall springs. They know that second winter is coming, so it's just, again, I try to be pragmatic, Sean, if nothing else. And I think, the whole thing has been, let's just take this day by day and be reasonable. But sometimes people say, hey, let's have 13 rate cuts. That's an exaggeration. And they get over their skis. And here we are.
Yeah, they get over their skis. Yeah, I'm all about relationships and not transactions. That being said, the more loans you do at higher rates, the more refinances, the more homeowners you are able to give the gift of higher affordability to later via a refinance, which actually, also happens to help build your career and pipeline and income. So, I think I like where we're at. I'm not in a hurry. John, I have on your behalf a public service announcement for our loan officers. Mr. Arnsmeyer here works tirelessly day and night to man the lock desk, and like I said, the tempestuous and turbid 10-year seas, and he's been getting in this tempestuousness a lot of manual lock requests via email and arrive. Is that right? Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And despite his good attitude and cheerful demeanor, he would like you to not do that. He would like you to use the COC lock request app that is in SharePoint. If you just go to the SharePoint page and you...
And it's just me. While Sean comes back on, you can find that link on the SharePoint. This is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the Monday Market Update. There he is.
I tried to open a new tab with SharePoint, and I just clicked.
Right. Listen, I told them just to go to SharePoint and look for the COC. And I said, this is fantastic. So it's comedy hour. You can find that data. Or, if you have a question, I will gladly send that message. I will send that link out in an email, a workplace chat, or a homing pigeon. I will get it to you however you need it.
I'm gonna mention it this week on the daily sales huddles and put it in the chat there. We'll plaster it around. I think people didn't know about it, and so that's totally fair, totally fine. But let's take it easy on old JMA over here and see if we can't provide him a little relief in doing things the right way. Anything else? Anything else our loan officers should know in order to have a constructive and productive week?
No, but I will say we did not talk about this quiet week ahead. The only thing that we need to watch out for, I just want to put this on the radar. It's going to be a quiet week, but on Wednesday we've got the FOMC meeting minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern, and on Thursday we've got jobless claims and existing home sales. So those are the only things on the radar this week that might move the needle. Just so everyone knows.
And here you go. I'm always wrong, so at your own risk, bet against me. But I don't think that we're going to get any good news from those Fed meeting minutes, especially since we've had CPI and PPI come out since then. So even whatever they said, because those minutes are written about the meeting that happened 2 weeks ago, whatever they said is not going to be really relevant anymore, even if they do say something like, oh, well, CPI looks like it's headed in the right direction. And it's like, well, actually, it sucks to be us, but it turns out that that's not the case. And, unemployment, like, who knows, man? People keep getting jobs. So I wouldn't expect great news there either way. So if you got them, lock them. If you like them, lock them. If you don't like them, lock them.
Lock them.
No matter what. But make sure you lock them using the COC lock request form in SharePoint, which I won't navigate away to right now. John, as usual, it's been an absolute... I wish we had more slow news weeks. This is more fun to just kind of chat.
It was. I like it.
I will look forward to seeing you on the other end of this slow week as we prepare for the following week, which is going to have GDP revision. It's going to have new home sales. It's going to have jobless claims as usual, and it's going to have PCE, the Fed's supposed preferred measure of inflation. Should be a little bit more exciting next week, but you get a reprieve this week. Everybody, hope you have a fantastic day. Let's go lock some loans the right way. Thanks, John.
Thanks. Take care.